Here. All right, at this time, we open up the meeting to any visitors to speak if they have anything. Please stand, state your name and topic. All right, with nobody going forward, we'll continue on to communications.
As I put in your packets, this is the magazine that Taylorville Junior High was recognized in for the National Award, a Tech Excellence Award. There were 13 school districts recognized out of 22 states. So our junior high had submitted an application to be recognized throughout the nation. And basically this profiles technology excellence in U.S. schools. Taylorville Junior High is in this magazine that went nationwide. Was recognized for that with the STEM Lab. I do want to express my appreciation. Mrs. Kunzman's here, Mr. Kettlecamp's here, as the administration, Mrs. DeWorf, and the staff at Taylorville Junior High School have really put Taylorville Junior High School onto the map in terms of technology and the technology opportunities that our students are going to have into the future. As we look at that, this will probably not be the last time that we're recognized for this, as next year we're bringing Project Lead the Way on into Taylorville Junior High, where 40 students will have the opportunity to take additional technology course and engineering coursework with Mrs. DeWorf and Mr. Andrick teaching those classes. This is really what it's all about. This was a conceived idea by the school improvement team at Taylorville Junior High School, and both those rooms which you have toured at the hotspot is changing a little bit for next year, and then the STEM Lab is changing a little bit for next year with the technology opportunities. And then of course the Public Schools Foundation provided a lot of the seed money for that, and we're very grateful. This year we had 16 school districts come and tour that STEM Lab at Taylorville Junior High School throughout the state of Illinois. That's quite an accomplishment when you look at Taylorville in terms of the things that Taylorville is providing its kids. So this is just providing the seed for, I'll pass this, I've clipped the magazine that we have. And I think that this is, they showcase the other school districts involved in this, but I really think that this is laying the groundwork for what Taylorville High School is going to have next year in terms of STEM opportunities for our students that will be 9 through 12 next year. We were very blessed and fortunate to have rather large donations come in to support Taylorville High School's STEM Lab. That STEM Lab is underway. We've been ordering the equipment, ordering the software, ordering the things that that our students will be and staff will be exposed to next year as well. So I would anticipate Taylorville High School submitting an application of this nature to be recognized nationally as a leader in STEAM. Now it's called STEAM technology, but you know, this is a pretty big deal to have this happen for Taylorville Junior High School and the opportunities that it's providing for our kids. So we're very excited about the opportunities that will be coming to Taylorville High School and expanding our opportunities for our elementary students in Taylorville with STEM technology next year, as well as providing additional technology resources at Taylorville Junior High School next year is also in the plan. And when we're talking about great things, I did put a CEO annual report. It's amazing what the young men and women that were involved at Taylorville High School and other area high schools were able to create with their business entrepreneurships. This is just their final end of the year report. If you didn't get an opportunity to take a look at their businesses when they had that at Taylorville Memorial Hospital, It was a great evening that evening as well to see these young folks and their businesses. Hopefully that there might be one or two that might actually come back to Taylorville or in the area or continue on with the business. So this is not sponsored by the school district, as you're aware of. They have their own separate board. We have Mrs. Glenn sits on that from Taylorville High School. And then there are investors that invest in this program to support this program. There are not any school district dollars put into this. Our students go to school before school and then come back to Taylorville High School to take that. So if you haven't had an opportunity to, well, this is yours to take. So these are provided for you as well. But, we have a lot of really great things going on in the Taylorville School District. So, and there'll be many more things, coming about as we get into the next school year with our curriculum and our opportunities for students. That's all I have for you, Mr.
All right. We'll continue on with consent agenda. Everybody get a chance to read over the minutes from May 14th meeting. Any changes need to be made? Okay, review claims. Anything out of the ordinary done?
No, we're getting right down to the end of the year. Next month we'll be purchasing more additional STEM equipment so that we get that ordered out of this year's budget as per that money was donated.
Anybody else see anything in there that had questions on? Okay, we'll continue on treasurer's report.
Yeah, as I talked a little bit about that in the budget amendment, we did receive our preschool grant, $783,000. That was good news that we were able to get that grant. We always worry about that up until the point in time that we receive a letter saying that we have that, because we're responsible for all of that unless we don't hire the staff. And there has been years when that was in jeopardy where we did RIF all of the preschool staff when the state was really in really bad shape that we did that, but we haven't done that in a while. So we're really happy that and that's up $20,000. So our share, the governor or the budget did put an additional $50 million into early childhood money. So that's not all bad as well. As I indicated, that the governor did sign a budget. It is for $300 million. We were asking for $400 million because $50 million of that set aside. It was set aside in the actual agreement with the administration that $50 million would go to property tax relief in districts that have high property taxes with relatively poor districts. For example, I would think in the area Pana would be eligible. They have a small EAV and a relatively high tax rate, which is over the state tax rate. So that is based on a formula that they can apply for that money throughout the state of Illinois, and then whatever that is, they can shrink that rate by 1%. If there's any money of the $50 million left over, then that will be distributed through the tiers. So that's the way it was set up. We had asked for $400 million, that way that 50 would be outside, but we got $300 million, which is better than nothing. So we're happy with the $300 million. So we'll see where that's at. I do want to mention that in that, as I've indicated before, they write this legislation, and on page 400 and something was that pension piece, okay? So that baby was hidden in the language, okay? So we're still trying to digest that. Nobody really knew that was coming, But that had to be part of the negotiation piece to get where the budget had to be. In essence, what that indicates is that when that was signed into law, that going forward, the pension bumps at the end of one's career had been previously allowed to be 6%, now it's 3% moving forward, okay? So now there's going to have to be some discussion about cleanup or how that's actually going to work. Now, our current contract is good until the end of this year, okay? So anybody that's in the system under this bargaining agreement will not lose anything, nor will the district be penalized. So if you've submitted your retirement letter, okay, in this system, under this contract, then you're protected. Anything going forward after this was signed, then it's subject to the 3% in the calculated pension years, okay? Now, what we're going to have a discussion about is the extra duty pay, because that's all lumped in there, coaching salaries, the whole kit and caboodle. So that is some of the cleanup that's going to have to be discussed at some point in time, hopefully in November when the veto session comes about. So this is something that's out there that we're going to be, matter of fact, I sent Colleen some information today that from TRS on this. So we're going to have to work through that. But if you see that out there, that's what it is. And then they did some other pension changes to give people some choices. Now, they did base this budget on the potential savings of this as they move forward, okay, in terms of that. So I just want you, if you hear that, you see that language out there, that has been signed, okay, when he signed the law. So signed the bill, that being the governor. That's in there. So we'll have to work through that and see how that's going to materialize as districts move forward. But that's just one of those little surprises that was in the legislation, okay, in terms of that. We'll see how that works out. As I mentioned, the state still owes us 2 categorical payments. The bulk of those categorical payments are transportation money, okay? Because we do receive the special ed personnel, and that comes through general state aid now. That's built in there. So the bulk of those payments will be transportation payments. That's not unusual that they owe us 2 at this time. Well, sometimes they owe us 3, but we're fortunate that they gave us another one this year. So other than that, the budget's in good shape. We're cash flowing. And we'll be ready to present a budget in August that we feel pretty good about.
All right. I don't have a motion to accept the consent agenda. Mr. Milling, second. Mr. Curtin, roll call.
Mr. Curtin?
Yes.
Mrs. Ebert?
Yes.
Mrs. Marburger?
Yes.
Mr. Milling?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes. All right, now we have the first reading of the board policies.
Are we supposed to read this or weigh it?
You can get that read.
Quick wait. Maybe before the next meeting. This is just a preliminary first reading. Yeah. Went through already, Doc.
Yeah, we did.
Holy smokes.
We're not messing around here.
I'm not messing around.
I'm trying to keep up with you.
Yeah, I'll try to, all right? I'm having trouble hearing them. All right.
And this is the first read.
That's your first read, so you can read them. If you got questions or concerns, let me know. This is a new system that they've gone to. Everything's online now. It's kind of a kind of a different system. Julie's kind of adjusting to it, so am I, in terms of how that works, right?
All right, we have the general supply bid.
Yes, before you is the general supply bid. FY19 is $15,132.05. FY18 was $10,727. It's up. It's up from the previous year of using supplies in the past, replenishing,
If I remember, I was down that
yeah. So,
year.
We had extra on hand.
Right.
so that's pretty much where it is.
I was just amazed how much construction paper we traded.
Yeah. And why one color is more expensive than the other?
I was
That's a
looking
good
at
question. I don't know.
I haven't figured out.
But I haven't figured that one out either, but it is.
You know, as much as we're getting away from paper, I thought, oh. All right, do I have a motion to accept the bids? Ms. Hebert, second. Mr. Turner, roll call.
Mr. Curtin?
Yes.
Mrs. Ebert?
Yes.
Mrs. Marburger?
Yes.
Mr. Milling?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Andrews?
Yes. All right, now the insurance revenue rate change.
Yes, included in there is a letter from Blue Shoe regarding our property general liability and casualty renewal for the year. We've increased, as they noted, some areas, particularly within the technology realm. And then based on experience that we have, our rate did go up 6.58% or $8,061. That's paid for out of the tort fund.
Now, is the increase from the 308 to the 400, the signage that we have now, that's where we had to increase the
That's part of it,
technology?
yes. And then we've also increased for the number of computers we have, for the
Okay.
STEM equipment, and then software.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it too. And then, of course, we have experience in some areas too, dealing with claims.
Any other questions on insurance? Motion to accept. Ms. Marver, second. Ms. Miller, roll call.
Mr. Curtin?
Yes.
Mrs. Ebert?
Yes.
Mrs. Marburger?
Yes.
Mr. Milling?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Andrews?
Yes. All right, now is our yearly consideration of prevailing wage.
They were required to do so by law, to basically for Christian County. You'll see this being published by other boards. This is an annual requirement. We have to submit this to the ROE. And that's just what we have to do.
Make a motion to accept.
Yes.
Ms. Ebert, second. Mr. Turner, gotta be roll call.
Yep.
Mr. Curtin?
Yes.
Mrs. Ebert?
Yes.
Mrs. Marburger?
Yes.
Mr. Milling?
Yeah.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Andrews?
Yes.
We're like that one.
All right, next is the consideration of the Aramark Food Service.
Yes, included in there is a letter from Airmark in terms of their renewal. Reflects a 2.5% increase, which is essentially CPI, which is what is permissible. Okay, so as with increased food costs, is primarily the driver behind that.
Have a motion to accept. Mr. Curtin, second. Ms. Ebert, roll call.
Mr. Curtin?
Yes.
Mrs. Ebert?
Yes.
Mrs. Marburger?
Yes.
Mr. Milling?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Andrews?
Yes. And now we'll go to the consideration of the appointee as district treasurer.
Yes, recommend that Mrs. German be appointed as the district's treasurer.
Motion by Mr. Milling, a second by Mr. Turner. Roll call.
Mr. Curtin?
Yes.
Mrs. Ebert?
Yes.
Mrs. Marburger?
Yes.
Mr. Milling?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Andrews?
Yes. All All right, at this time, I need a motion to go into closed session for appointment of employment compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of employee, or negotiate property. I have a motion by Ms. Siebert, second Mr. Marburger. Roll call.
Mr. Curtin? Mrs. Eber?
Yes.
Mrs. Marburger?
Yes.
Mr. Milling?
Yes.
Mr. Turner? Mr. Anderson?
Yes. All right, we're going to close. Do you read off personnel first, or do you do a motion first?
You can, it's a long list.
I said,
Just say we'll put in it with the exception of striking that one.
Okay. All right, I need to have a motion made to accept the personnel sheet with the exception of striking the one off.
I so moved.
Ms. Eber, second. Mr. Turner, roll call.
Mr. Curtin? Mrs. Eber?
Yes.
Mrs. Marburger? Abstain. Mr. Milling?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes. All right, I need to have a motion made on the non-bargaining salaries. The acceptance of the non-bargaining positions, which was a 2% raise, which is in line with what the other members received in the bargaining session. Motion made by Mr. Milling, a second. Mrs. Ebert, roll call.
Mr. Curtin?
Yes.
Mrs. Eber?
Yes.
Mrs. Marburger?
Abstain.
Mr. Milling?
Yes.
Mr. Turner?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes. All right, now we'll have the report of the superintendent.
Yeah, just a few items this evening. If you're interested in attending the Illinois Associated School Boards Conference, that is going to be held November 16th through the 18th. If you're interested, please let Julie know, and she can take care of getting that set up for you, okay? That's the state conference, okay? The auditor will start most likely the second week of July. That's a typical time that they come in. They spend about 2 weeks here with us to complete our audit as well as the federal audit that's required by law. The Taylorville boiler project, the boilers are gone. If you go out there and look in that hole, they're gone. They cut them out of there and they took them out through that hole. They blocked in the rest of the wall there and they took all those out, although it was a flooded pit in there this morning that they came to work and they had to address this morning. But that is, and then the new boilers will be arriving at the end of, first part of July to begin that process. They will be shutting the water off at Taylorville High School to move the water line in order to get those, get that to the boilers. But that project is coming along quite nicely.
I believe they did that today. They did that
They
today.
shut the water off today? All right, yeah, I knew that was coming. So that they can get that water line in terms of that. The tile in the cafeteria at North Elementary has been abated. And then they will be arriving this week to put the new tile down. To note, that was the original tile that had been in that building, so I think we got plenty of wear out of that tile in terms of that situation. We are continuing to address classroom door locks to get those all working and get those addressed. They do work, but we do have some that stick, so we'll be replacing all of those this summer, and that work will start hopefully the month of July. If you've driven by our pond out there now,
Lake Taylorville High School.
Lake Taylorville High School now, but that project is was right on schedule. It was ahead of schedule. If you hadn't been out there in a while, they had all the curb work was done, and they were starting to run the internal drain tile. The storm drain is put in if you drive over behind the baseball field. The new storm drain is put in there, so that whole field's going to drain that way. in terms of that situation. So, but it's going well, on schedule. Turf is supposed to be here
Second week of July.
second week of July. So, and that's when the installation will start to happen. So it's going to be an exciting time with that situation. So the summer maintenance, you know, the crews are busy working on buildings, and we're not going to be cutting grass for a few days, but I think other than that, it'll be all right. So that's all I have this evening, Mr. Henry.
Okay, before I ask for a motion to adjourn, I just wanted to let everybody on the board know and the public know that at next month's meeting, we will thoroughly discuss the elementary buildings that we talked about earlier, said we wanted to get our foot on the ground, get that taken care of this summer. So if everybody does their research and has their ideas to present, that will be at next month's meeting, and we would like to have a vote on the next meeting. All right, I need a motion to adjourn. Mr. Millen, second. Mr. Curtin, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. That last one, we had,